me, blah blah blah. I won't bore you with another. Even if I wanted your help, you couldn't give it to me because your help is useless. Why? Because you're not a member. I just wish that I wasn't either. It all started innocently enough with a phone call. It's been up for a few hours. I'd been up for a few hours, unpacking and cleaning, waiting for the plumber to call. I just moved into a cabin, and the contractors fucked everything up. Because of that, I now have the wonderful task of making calls to competent people that can fix what the original contractors did wrong. The phone rang at 12:06. Not bad, I thought. Usually plumbers don't bother to call or show up until 5. When I picked up the phone, I didn't even get a chance to say hello before a woman on the line told me to please hold for the next available operator. I hopped up and sat on the cabinet in the kitchen. It was one of the few places in the cabin not occupied with boxes. Elevator music leaked into my ear. I'd started to drowse off when the music stopped and a piano chord that sounded like it was 3 notes that didn't quite go together played through the receiver twice. A voice came on the line. Welcome to Booth World Industries. My name is Samantha, and I'll be your operator today. Name? I didn't know what to say, so I told the operator my name. Sir,
Huh.
we know who you are. I'm your operator. Please give me a name to access. I don't understand, I said. It can be anyone, sir. We just need a name. Okay, I said. I made up a name. Harold Withers. Sir, as your operator, I must point out that fictitious names or the names of people that you don't know cannot be used.
Wait, what
Y-
is this for? Like, what is?
You'll see, you'll see. It's part of the story. Used for what? I asked.
I thought I was missing something.
How had she known that I'd made up that name? The whole thing felt like it was some sort of prank, but hardly anyone knew my new phone number. Remodeling? Remodeling? Is this the plumber? I asked. Welcome to Booth World Industries. My name is Samantha, and I will be your operator today. Name? I took that as a yes, and I gave them the name of an old ex-girlfriend, Jessica Goodwin. I could hear the clicking of the keyboard on the other end of the phone. It sounded like the woman was pounding the thing with her fist. After a few moments of this, she returned. Jessica Goodwin, she said. Remodeling is scheduled for August 21st, 2015. Would you like to reschedule? I was silent on my side of the phone. I couldn't believe this. Someone had to be playing a prank on me. Who is this? Is this you, Jessica? Are you playing a prank on me? I asked. The woman didn't respond for a long time. I thought that whoever was on the other end of the phone was holding in a laugh. Hello? I asked. Yes or no, sir? The woman asked back. Yes, I said, not understanding what the woman was asking. I have a Tuesday appointment available. Will that work? At this point, I thought I was going insane, and it actually was the plumbing company. What about today? I asked. Do you have anything available for today? Normally, we can't arrange for a schedule on such short notice, but today we had a cancellation. How does 3 o'clock work for you? 3 o'clock is fine, I said. 3 o'clock it is then. Would you like a courtesy call? Sure. Wonderful. We at Booth World Industries say thanks and welcome to the club. You have a marvelous day. That strange chord played twice again, and then the line went dead. I rolled my eyes and went back to unpacking. My phone rang at 3 o'clock on the dot that afternoon. Hello? Sir, this is Samantha with Booth World Industries again. Your courtesy call begins now. What do you? I began to say, but was cut off by those diminished chords blaring into my ear. Then I heard Jessica's voice. Why, why are you doing this? Jessica asked. I could hear the tears in her voice. Jessica? I asked. Sir, the operator said. She cannot hear you. This is a courtesy call. The appointment has already concluded. Please, Jessica begged. Please don't do this. I'll do anything you want. Jessica's
Hey,
voice
Jay's
choked.
Dawn. Or J's
Jess,
down. Just so you know, we're in the middle of a Creepypasta right now, which is like scary stories. Matt tells one or two every night. Oh, yeah, it's your dad's account. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
Jessica's voice choked off into a wheeze, and all I could hear on the other end of the phone was the rustling of clothing and more wheezing. Eventually it stopped, and someone picked up on the other end. The scheduled work has been completed, a man's voice said. We at Booth World Industries say thanks and welcome to the club. You have a marvelous day. Sir, the operator came back on the line. Was that to your satisfaction? I sat there for a long time, cold sweat dripping down my ribcage. Jessica was my ex, because I walked in on her and my best friend fucking at a party in high school. I,
Wow.
s- I smiled and whispered, that was perfect. Wonderful, the operator said. We at Booth World Industries aim to serve. Would you like to make another appointment? As I stared at the water leaking from the door of the dishwasher, I smiled even bigger. Yes, yes, I would. Name? Dan. I don't have a last name. He's a contractor. Dan Arcebia, July 13th, 2032. Would you like to reschedule? Yes, I said. How would Wednesday work for you? Didn't you say you had a Tuesday appointment available? I asked. I did, but unfortunately that slot has been filled by another member. Would Wednesday work for you? No. I have a job interview that day. What about Thursday? Unfortunately, Thursday will not work. You are due for remodeling Wednesday night. What? I asked. She repeated the exact same thing to me again. Can we reschedule my remodeling? I asked. Of course we can, sir, the woman said. It sounded like she was smiling on the other end of the phone.
We will
There's
fix it.
always a way.
We'll get Matt to fix it for you between these two stories, and we have not yet tin can.
Fix what?
His points thing's still not working. Continue the story, Matt.
Of course we can, sir, the woman said. It sounded like she was smiling on the other end of the phone. There's always a way. I waited for her to tell me how. She didn't speak. How? I asked. Booth World Industries is always looking to add a new member. We are, of course, a membership by invitation only club. Sadly, our membership numbers have fallen in recent years. Economic recessions, wars, politics. What would what would we, what we would like you to do in order to avoid your own remodeling appointment is help us add several new members. The light at the end of the tunnel, I thought. How many members do you need? I asked. 1,000. I choked. 1,000? Yes, sir. Otherwise, we'll have to keep our scheduled appointment. We must inform you that the member that scheduled this appointment did request a courtesy call. Everything stopped at that point for me. All my life I just skated by, not doing anything, not making a difference. My mouth actually dried up, and I'd always thought that it was just a thing people wrote in books to be dramatic. It's not. I'll get you your 1,000 members, I whispered. We at Booth World Industries say thanks and welcome to the club. You
Can I
have a
ask you a
marvelous
question?
day. Yeah.
So, what's his remodeling, apparently? I don't quite understand.
Just let me finish. The connection ended. I hung up the phone and stared at it for a long time. I'm scheduled for remodeling on Wednesday, and somewhere, someone will be getting a courtesy call to listen to my last few breaths if I don't get 1,000 members to join Booth World Industries.
Oh.
It's funny, I'd always wanted to join an elite club. Skull and Bones, New World Order. I'm not sure how I got in, but now I'm a member. I've got until a Wednesday to enjoy it. Like I said at the beginning, even if I wanted your help, you couldn't give it to me because you're not a member. Membership is by invitation only. I'm inviting you in. You can help me. Just call 630-296-7536. And that's the end.
So, he's a member, but if he doesn't get them 1,000 more members, he dies.
Yeah, someone called in a remodeling on him. So
Oh wait,
He
so
has
he got
kids now.
his ex-girlfriend murdered.
Yes. And then
Was
he
he? Did
also,
he know that when he initially called?
not at first, but he scheduled another remodeling for the contractor that screwed him over.
Yeah, that's what he was calling for in the first place, anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was calling to get a new contractor.
And then the next one's like a continuation.
No, this is not a continuation. It's just like a different Booth World Industry story. It's just to get to know the gist of it. You kind of have to read the first one.
Give me the number on that again.
Hold on, I can't find it.
Yes,
Six
we'll
three
get to
zero
yours after this next one. Wait, what is it?
630-296-7536. Why are you gonna call?
Mm-mm. Fuck no. Not right now, anyway. Anyway, go ahead.
Alright, I'll start the next one. Like a lot of you, I called the number for Booth World Industries. Before I called, I read through the responses in the thread. I like knowing what's going on, what's going to happen before it happens. I guess I'm boring like that. It was still a sick thrill to dial the number and hit call, even though I knew what was coming. I was on the home phone and made sure to block my info, just in case. Something went wrong, though. You all got a voicemail. I got a live person. Welcome to Booth World Industries. My name is Samantha, and I'll be your operator today. Name? I froze at this point. I didn't know what to say. I expected a canned message like the rest of you got. Maybe even the weird text. I never expected a real person to pick up. I panicked and hung up the phone. When it started ringing 5 seconds later, I left the house to go pick up my daughter, Ariana, from school. On the way back, my cell started ringing. Ariana loves the hands-free phone in our car. She likes to pick it up and pretend like it's the intercom of a spaceship and the caller is a Cylon. I blame my husband's frequent viewing of Battlestar Galactica for this. Mommy? Ariana asked. Can I push the button? Sure, I said. Make it fast before the light changes, though. Ariana unbuckled her seatbelt, and reached up between the two front seats, hit the button that would pick up the phone. Hello? She said, after she waited for the beep to let you know the phone just picked up. I heard the same voice from earlier, flat, almost robotic. Welcome to Booth World Industries. My name is Samantha, and I'll be your operator today. Name? Everything stopped for me then. The light turned green, cars drove by, the cars behind me honked, but I sat there, staring at my steering wheel. R/R, no sleep, is supposed to be a place for scary stories. A place where you can scare yourself a little, but be fine at the end. A place where you live out your fears. There was nothing safe about that woman's voice on the other end of the phone. Mommy? Ariana asked. Is everything okay? Hello, Ariana, the operator said. Welcome to Booth World Industries. My name is Samantha, and I'll be your operator today. Name? Ariana, my daughter said. Ariana, stop, I said. Mrs. Jacobs, the woman said. Please call the office when you get home. We have some remodeling to schedule. I didn't answer. I hung up the phone and drove the rest of the way home. Ariana looked up at me as we walked up the driveway. Was that a Cylon? I smiled, even though it felt like someone had skewered my stomach to the concrete and it was still writhing around there. No, honey, I said. Cylons aren't real. My little girl looked up at me. Her brow wrinkled and she frowned. That broke my heart. It was the first time I'd lied to her. No, it wasn't a Cylon on the other end of the line, but there was something lacking in the Booth World operator's voice. Something broken. Something human. Something dead. When we got inside, I made Ariana a bowl of cereal and took it to her room. I turned on SpongeBob SquarePants for her to watch, and I knew what I had to do. I typed the Booth World Industries number into my cell, 630-296-7536. When I brought up the phone to my ear, someone was breathing on the other end. I never even heard it ring. Hello? Welcome to Booth World Industries. My name is Samantha and I'll be your operator today. Name? My mouth went dry. I knew what I was supposed to do. Janice Hoffman, I said. Janice was my boss at work. Although her voice reminded me of Fran Drescher's, her constant exploring hands reminded me more of that sleazy boss from Disclosure. On the other end of the phone, I could hear Samantha pounding on the keyboard. It sounded like she was wearing one of those cordless headsets and slamming her face down on the keys. Janice Hoffman, she said. Remodeling is scheduled for January 1st, 2022. Would you like to reschedule? Yes, I said. We have an opening on Monday. That's fine. Would you like a courtesy call? I wanted nothing to do with listening to someone die. No, I said. Are you sure, Mrs. Jacobs? Yes. All right. On Monday the 13th, we have Janice Hoffman scheduled for remodeling. Fine. Mrs. Jacobs? Yes. How would you like to pay for this? What the hell was she talking about? The original story never mentioned anything about payment. Pay? I asked. Yes, Mrs. Jacob. When you schedule a remodeling, the scheduling is final unless another member shifts the schedule date. We expect payment in full before service is rendered. What's the price? Ariana. The name hung in the air. Ariana, I whispered. What do you mean? The price for the scheduled remodeling is your daughter, Ariana. If you do not pay, we will have no choice but to repossess what is due. My blood ran cold when she said repossess. I could hear her smiling on the other end of the phone.
What does she
The
mean,
first
repossess?
shh. The
I'm
first
the worst
fragment of
storyteller ever.
What do you mean I'm the worst storyteller ever? You gotta listen to the story, Jeremy.
Really
The
awful.
first fragment of the emotion she'd shown yet. What's the difference between a payment and a repossession? I asked, closing my eyes. You can earn any payment back, part parts of it at least, by referring new members. Unfortunately, all repossessions are final. Why are you doing this? Ma'am, you responded to our ad on the /r/no sleep and called us. You contracted work on Janice Hoffman. Now we are at the payment stage. The cost of the work is your daughter, Ariana. You can't have her. Wonderful. Repossession is scheduled then. We at Booth World Industries say thanks and welcome to the club. You have a marvelous day. I jumped when the phone clicked. I took it away from my head and stared at it. If I hadn't felt like I was going to cry and throw up at the same time, I would have laughed. Everything was crazy. I was crazy. I stared at my sales display. The Booth World Industries number was still sitting on the screen. I ran to Ariana's room. It was empty. The bowl of cereal sat on the towel I always put under anything Ariana ate in case of spills. Sitting on the bowl was a business card. I took a picture because I thought I was going crazy, and I thought the card wouldn't be there if I blinked. When I picked up the card, it was warm, baking with wet heat. My skin crawled, and I threw it down. It landed backside up in the bowl. I heard, I heard her roar outside and made it out just in time to see a black Chevrolet SS roll around the corner. I called the police. They sent out an officer, and he took down all my info. An Amber Alert was issued. The waiting began. I felt so desperate, so I visited the /r/Booth World, but the subreddit was private. I just got a call a few hours later. The number was from a 917 area code. Hello? I asked. I already knew who would be on the other end. Ma'am, this is Samantha with Booth World Industries again. Your courtesy call begins now. I hung up. My cell started ringing again. 323 area code. I took the battery out of my cell. My house phone started ringing. The caller ID read an 832 area code. I didn't answer. I pulled the jack from the wall and sat down with my face in my hands. I couldn't bring myself to think about what was happening. I sat there and cried, feeling completely helpless. That's when the phone started ringing. My cell, my cell buzzed across the table, away from its battery, and my unplugged phone rang louder than it ever had before. I got in my car and left. I went to Walmart and used the payphone to call the detective in charge of Ariana's case. His name was Stark. After waiting for a long time on hold, Stark picked up. Mrs. Jacobs? He asked. Have you found her? I asked. No, but we traced the number. It was a cell phone from some kid a block over from where you live. He said that he never made the call, but the carrier says otherwise. The kid says that he called a number for just a second here. Here it says Booth World Industries on a site called Reddit, I corrected. That's what I said. There's no record of Booth World Industries anywhere. We're holding the kid, and I'll let you know if anything happens, okay? Is that all? I asked, just wanting my daughter back. Yes, ma'am. It's best if you leave this to us, okay? Alright. Good, Stark said. We at the police department say thanks, and you're welcome to call if you need to. But I'm sure that we'll be in touch soon. You have a marvelous day. I
Oh,
hung up the phone, and it started ringing immediately. I picked it up, stupidly hoping it would start with new info. A male's voice growled into my ear. The scheduled work has been completed. We at Booth Work Industries say thanks and welcome to the club. /r/Booth World is now open. You have a marvelous day. The line dropped and I hung up the phone. I brought my hand up to my ear. It was warm with his breath. Edit. I made a mistake. Everything is fine. We at the Jacobs household say thanks. You have a marvelous day. And that's it.
what the fuck? That is retarded.
I liked it.
So the
Alright.
detective was part of the industry.
Yep. Alright. I'll read Tin Cans now. It's really, really short. It won't take long. White with red. A man went in a hotel. A man went to a hotel and walked to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key, told him that on the way to his room there was a door with no number that was locked and no one was allowed in there. She explained that it was a storeroom and that it was out of bounds. She reminded him of this several times before allowing him upstairs, so he followed the instructions of the woman at the front desk, going straight to his room and going to bed. However, the insistence of the woman had piqued his curiosity, so the next night he walked down the hall to the door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. Cold air passed through it, chilling his eye. What he saw was a hotel bedroom, like his, and in the corner was a woman whose skin was incredibly pale. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the door. He stared in confusion for a while. Was this a celebrity? The owner's daughter? He almost knocked on the door out of curiosity, but decided not to. As he was still looking, the woman turned sharply, and he jumped back from the door, hoping she would not suspect he had been spying on her.
I've heard this somewhere.
He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day he returned to the door and looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness. He couldn't make anything out besides a distinct red color, unmoving. Perhaps the inhabitants of the room knew he was spying the night before, and had blocked the keyhole with something red.
No, it's the bitch's eye.
He felt embarrassed that he had made the woman so uncomfortable, and hoped she would not make a complaint with the woman at the front desk. At this point, he decided to consult her for more information. She sighed and said, "Did you look through the keyhole?" The man told her that he had, and she said, "Well, I might as well tell you the story of what happened in that room. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in there, and we found that even now, whoever stays there gets very uncomfortable. But these people were not ordinary. They were white all over, except for their eyes, which were red." And that's it.
Yep. Knew it was that bitch's eye.
Alright, that's all the creepypasta for tonight.
That is so retarded still.